It's the Arizona Daily Stars Match Play Video Extra, brought to you by Fry's Food Stores. This is the Saturday night edition. I'm Star Sports Editor Ryan Finley, joined by Daniel Berk. Daniel, we're down to 4, and what a day of golf it was. Take me through the last couple of hours.
Well, certainly I think the most dramatic match of the day was Ricky Fowler and Jim Furyk. The Arizona Wildcats product, Furyk, had a great week here and tore up the back nine. 12 birdies and no bogeys heading into the last 2 holes of today's round. And he was one up on Fowler, and you just thought, okay, this thing's academic. We're going to see Furyk tomorrow. Instead, bogey 17. Bogey 18 after just a muffed chip on 18, and Fowler wins the last 2 holes and wins one up. And it was just kind of a stunning turn of events after Furyk really looked like he was in charge and ready to march on. And that match, to me today, was just so much fun because of the gallery size, the people following. There was Fowler fans, there was Furyk fans, and it looked like a Tiger Woods crowd with how many people were out there and following him. And it was just a blast. And Furyk wins 4 in a row. He was 3 down, wins 4 in a row to go 1 up heading into 17, and with how well he had played the back nine, you felt like I said, you felt like this thing was over. And Fowler pulls it out, and we've talked about Fowler obviously a lot this week, and it's just a neat story. Missed 3 cuts coming into this tournament, new swing coach, new swing, kind of struggling to find his game, and
Still
he's
can't
finding
putt.
it.
Still can't putt.
Well, you know what? That's obviously something he needs to work on, but he's hit some pretty big putts this week, because you don't get to Sunday without making some big putts and being good on the green. So that's certainly still a weakness of his game, because, man, does he mash off the tee. But he's hit some important putts.
One of the things that's interesting to me about Fowler in person especially is he looks like your 17-year-old little brother.
Yeah. I don't have a 17-year-old little brother, but if I did, I imagine he would look like Ricky Fowler. I mean, and I totally agree with you. And just the way he handles himself is really impressive. He gets dragged off the 18th today to do some interviews, and there's a bunch of people waiting for autographs, and he kind of asked the media relation person, hey, am I going to be able to come back and do these interviews or do these autographs or what? And, he really kind of cares about his fans because he's got a ton of them, and he just seems to be having fun. And he talked, I'm writing about this for Tomorrow's Star, he talked about after each round he's been going hiking, up Dove Mountain behind the Ritz with his sister and his mom, and just kind of having a blast this week, trying to rediscover his game.
Jim Furyk's a guy, Daniel, who's been a professional golfer for 20-some-odd years, and is not anybody who you'd ever call exuberant. A pretty even-keeled guy, but even Furyk today seemed fairly despondent after losing that match.
He really did. He walked off 18 just terribly disappointed and was fielding some questions from me and a couple other reporters and said, sorry, guys, I'm having trouble focusing. I'm just kind of so upset, and because it was there for him. All the momentum in the world. He won 4 in a row. You go 1 up, and you're feeling great, and he just kind of blows it. And he's had, trouble like with that before in the Ryder Cup in 2012 and even last year at the PGA with Jason Duffner. So he's run into some issues before, and you kind of felt bad for the guy. And all the good, this is the first time he's made it to the weekend, but he did not care about that today, and he felt like kind of all the goodwill of the week he had worked up was gone.
Yeah, Jim Furyk, in losing today, makes $280,000. That is little consolation, as strange as that sounds.
That means a lot more to me and you than to him, because he's made that money before, and I think he's just terribly disappointed with how it ended.
Daniel, obviously the big story today is Ernie Els, a guy who I think a lot of golf fans can identify with, somebody who we've all been watching play golf for the last 25 years, advances all the way to the semifinals of a tournament that over the years he said he doesn't really like.
Right. I'm not happy with Ernie right now because he takes out my guy, Jordan Spieth, who I've kind of been talking about here for days. But it's a neat story. 44 years old, doesn't like the tournament, doesn't like the format. Seems like some years he comes in as a 1 seed, some as a 16, and this year he comes in right in the middle as an 8, and he cruises on into the final. So I think, it's a neat story because of like what you said, that he doesn't love it here and he hasn't always had success, but it's a name that everyone knows, whether you're a golf fan or not. You know the name Ernie Els, 4-time major champion, and now he'll get a chance to win a WGC event.
I like watching a big man swing a golf club, so it's kind of fun.
He's a big man.
We talk about Ricky Fowler looking like your 17-year-old little brother. Ernie Els is a man. He's a tall guy, big guy, and still seems to have some really great touch around the greens. and over in the rough. I mean, that his short game, I think, is what saved him this week.
Yeah, I would say he looks like my dad, but my dad's not in that good shape. But yeah, no, he has. He's had some great play around the green, and Ernie Els still looks the exact same he did 10 years ago when he was winning all the time, and he just kind of never changes and lumbers around the golf course, and here he is, playing on Sunday.
Absolutely. You talk about maybe the odds-on favorite to win this thing right now. You look at a guy like Jason Day. He's the highest seed left in this tournament as a 2. He continues to just steamroll guys with sort of a football mentality. I mean, he doesn't really talk on the course. He doesn't give anybody anything. I mean, he's pretty intense.
He's the opposite of Fowler.
Yeah.
I mean, really, and we were talking about that earlier. He's the opposite of Ricky Fowler. Ricky Fowler's out there talking to announcers, talking to people walking with him, having fun, laughing. Jason Day doesn't want to do any of that. He doesn't give a single putt. He's making everyone putt, 2-footers, 3-footers, not conceding anything, and just like you said, kind of has that football mentality. But now he's 12-3 lifetime at Duff Mountain, back-to-back years in the semifinals, and certainly a guy you don't want to play. But when you get to this point, when you make it to the Final Four, you're going to have to play great players, and he's one of them.
You know what? He is my pick to win this thing. I'm not sure there's anybody who's more cut out for this format, and somebody who's obviously been playing well all week. And really, if you look at it, he gets Ricky Fowler tomorrow. Fowler's still a 14 seed, a guy who maybe while he's hot has not been playing very good golf of late. I mean, I think Jason Day might beat him and beat him handily. Yeah,
that would stand to reason, but it would have made sense if Ian Poulter would have throttled Ricky Fowler in the first round, how good he is at match play. It would have made sense if Jimmy Walker would have done it with how great he's been playing, and it would have made sense if Sergio Garcia. So, I don't know. Fowler's just kind of that, hey, he's that little brother that won't go away. If we're going to keep talking about him being our little brother, that guy who keeps saying, go away, go away, go away, and he keeps saying, no, no, no. And here he is.
Nice. The last guy we'll talk about real quick, and I know that you don't have a whole lot to say about him, but Victor Dubuisson wins again today. Victor from the bush, as we learned in terms of the French definition. The Frenchman takes out Graham McDowell, ending what would have been one of the great runs throughout the history of this tournament. It seems as if Graham McDowell just kind of ran out of luck there at the end today.
Yeah, and you felt like he maybe had one more, Houdini-esque move in his bag, but he didn't. And, Victor's an interesting story. I'm going to call him Victor. Only 23 years old, but he's not like a huge underdog like Ricky Fowler. He's ranked in the top 30 in the world. He's a very good player, and he's made it through. So now he goes up against Els, and it certainly would have made for more star power if McDowell could have pulled it out, because then you'd have two major winners going up against each other, and then Fowler and Day, and I think that would have been really a neat Final Four. But he's played well to get here, and he's beaten some really good players, and he gets a chance to do it again tomorrow against Ernie.
Absolutely. Well, there you have it. There's your Final Four. Be sure to tune in tomorrow morning to watch as Daniel and I break down the 2 semifinal matches. We'll be with you again tomorrow night to talk about the winner. This is the Arizona Daily Star Net's Match Play Video Extra, brought to you by Fry's Food Stores. For Daniel Berk, I'm Ryan Finley saying we'll see you tomorrow morning.
Try this matchup. Low prices and faster checkout. You can count on it at Fry's.